Moro, reasons have always existed for almost everything. But let the point be made, and let emphasis also be made on it, that it is not every reason that is in a reasonable form. As for reasons will always be there. There will always be justifications for actions or inactions, for omissions or actions. I did this because of that. I did not do this because of that. And especially when those reasons are justified or lays under the umbrella of the law. Remember what Baron de Montesquieu said. He was very profound and succinct when he made the point that there is no greater tyranny than the one that is hidden under the umbrella of the law or the guise of the law and in the name of justice. And I'm very much convinced that is what we are witnessing now. That there is no greater tyranny than the one that is hidden under the umbrella of the law or perpetuated under the guise of the law and in the name of justice. If you want to use the law, moral, as a basis to justify your positions, you always do. Just like judges. Judges mostly take a position and then justify it within the remit of the law. It is the more reason why there are different opinions on the same subject matter. You go to court today, a judge will say that I see this book as blue. Another judge will say that I see this as a blue black. And they will have a justifiable basis within the same remit of the law to justify their position. So if you keep telling me that what law did President Mahama break, what law did President Mahama break, I will tell you the provision that he breached, the constitutional provision that he breached. But before that, I want to tell you that before legality, there was conscience and morality, and there was values. That in the spirit of even building our democracy, there are oughts and what we ought not to do. That you don't just get up as one arm of the government after that myriad of criticisms prior to your ascension to the throne as the president of the country, comes into power, target this woman, remove her, and you think everybody ought to clap for you. Reasons have always existed, but not always in reasonable forms. So what you've done is to perpetuate the highest form of tyranny, and now cosmetically lays it under the remit of the Constitution. Of course, if it is about everything that is being justified with the law, then I want to have a news for you. That recall that at some point slave trade was legal. Slave trade was justified by the law. But Moro, will you sit in your right conscience and say that slave trade was something that was right? No. I give you another example. PD, this Preventive Detention Act. It was legal. It was justified under the remits of our laws. And all what Nkrumah did under PDA, the Reakuto, were all done within the remit of the law. Would Beatrice sit here as a student of the law and a lawyer and justify PDA today, especially with human rights and the new position of the law and how law or the legal space has developed? Clearly no. Pioneering has been justified by the law. If you go to South Africa, interestingly, apartheid that we so much criticize and so much distaste and reject was justified by the law. So I just want to set a very fundamental principle and a basis for you, that the fact that things are done under the umbrella of the law does not necessarily make those things legally right, because even bad laws are also laws. Pioneering, all of them, human sacrifices, those chiefs in the olden days that were killing people, they were all justified by laws. When you took them to any judicial process or to face any judicial committee, they were not going to find them culpable, because the position of the law was that if a chief dies, you must cut somebody's head and bury the person. Would you also say that, because it was justified by the law on that basis, then it is legally right? Clearly no. What President Mahama has succeeded in doing is not only to bring down the needs of the judiciary to its lowest moment, but what makes me scary is how now judges may be forced to align with a political party that is in power. And that is also going to mean that in terms of consistency in their rulings, we are not going to get it. Because right now, the perception that everybody is going to get is that the new CJ obviously has to align with the NDC. And cases that may make some political interests or political connotations, obviously you may have to force to be aligned. which is, for me, very dangerous for our democracy. Not to even talk of the fact that if you look at, let's say, within the economic space, the consequential effect on our economy. Because, see, I've always maintained that when we talk about the judiciary does not have guns. They do not have arms. The judiciary survives on the trust and the confidence that the people places on them. Judiciary is like money. Money is the value of money is about the trust and the value that people place on the money. It is a more reason why you pick dollar and cedi. But at the end of the day, you say that dollar is more valuable than the cedi in nominal terms because of the value that people places on the dollar. So when you have an institution that is only safeguarded by the trust and confidence that people places on them, and all you do is that you don't check the mood of the nation, you don't check the consequential effect on our economy, you don't check the consequential effect on our safety, people just lose confidence in it. What happens is that if today I am supposed to go to court and I believe that I'm not going to get justice, I'll pick a gun into my hands and then attempt to get justice by myself.
Okay.
Very dangerous precedent that has been set.